I know what you're thinking. Dustin, what are you talking about? Justin Herbert and Joe Burrow are both playing pretty good football. It doesn't make any sense why their card prices should be questioned. Stick around, we'll talk through it. Hello to all my sports card collector, investor, all my collectibles friends out there in the universe. I hope that you are doing well today. It is Sunday. It's football Sunday. My Saints play Monday Night Football against the Russell Wilson-less Seahawks. Hopefully we can pull out a victory. I believe that game is in Seattle. It's never an easy place to play. We are a good road team, but the Saints are kind of one of those teams where it could go either way. So we will see what happens. Today we're going to talk about some football cards, in particular Justin Herbert. And we're going to touch on Joe Burrow as well as some of these other guys. We're going to make some comparisons. If you're new here, please hit that subscribe button. If you like what you hear, the like button, and we will go ahead and get started. All right, guys, I know what you're thinking. Justin Herbert and Joe Burrow have really started out really good this season. They have been playing well. Joe Burrow coming off of a really tough knee injury. There was questionable offensive line stuff with the Bengals and the Bengals in general. It's not a storied franchise. They have struggled. And the big question was, are they setting up Burrow for success? Chase has ended up being an amazing pickup for them at receiver. Their rookie receiver is lighting it up. Unbelievable talent. And, they were together at LSU, so they've got some cohesiveness. They're playing really, really well. The Bengals are a little bit of a surprise right now. But I'll be honest, before the season, I kind of wondered. I really like Joe Burrow. I like him long term. I think he's actually going to be a really, really good pro, regardless of whether he stays with the Bengals or goes somewhere else. I think he's going to be eventually a top 5 QB in the NFL. I know some of you are probably thinking like, that's nuts, but I think that he's that good. Justin Herbert is another guy, probably on track to be a top 5 QB in the NFL as well down the road here a little bit. Now, what we're going to talk about specifically are their rookie cards. So their rookie cards are 2020 rookie cards, and we're going to take a look at those compared to 2019, 2018, 2017, and 2016. A few of these rookies, and we're going to talk about the number of cards that they've got out on the market and why it really kind of concerns me overall. There's already a lot of talk about overprinting, and really a lot of people I think have the mindset of 2018 and onward is really kind of where print runs have gone a little bit bananas because look, cards have been in demand. You can't find them at Walmart and Target. You can't find them anywhere. They're in demand. And so what is happening is we are seeing an uptick. Select was a product that used to be hobby only. Now it's retail and hobby as well. And so, we're starting to see more and more of this. There's 100 plus parallels with the new Select product, which is a lot. When you have that many parallels, numbered parallels, it gives the impression of scarcity or rarity, but it's not because there's so many different numbered colors, so many different numbered parallels. And that's a problem when you've got orange and aqua blue and dark blue. And, it's like there's so many different colors to the rainbow there that it gets really tricky to really nail down like which ones outside of like jersey team color match are going to be important cards moving forward outside of just, ones that you particularly like in general. On a recent sports card investor show, Jeff was talking about how they've got over 700 different Justin Herbert cards that they are tracking in the Market Movers data tool. And I'm a Market Movers member. I looked at it because I was like, man, that seems like a lot of rookie cards. And what I did find is that it's not actually 700 individual cards. In Market Movers, they're counting the graded copies, the raw copies. So for example, if you've got, Justin Herbert Silver Prism rookie card, there in Market Movers, you've got the raw copy, then you've got the PSA 9, the PSA 10, maybe an SGC 10 or BGS 9.5. Those all count as one in that 700 plus, cards that are being tracked. So it's not necessarily 700 different rookie cards. It's counting kind of each graded type of graded card as well as the raw copy as well. It's still 700 plus options for that card. So it's still a lot, but it doesn't mean that there's 700 different ones. There's probably a couple hundred different ones. And then you've got all the different graded variations of that are being tracked. Now, when we look at Market Movers, if we go to Justin Herbert, 799 cards, if we're looking at number of cards sold over the last 365 days. And so that's where you come up with 799 different cards. And again, there's different grades that are being matched up there. 799. Joe Burrow has 734 cards that are being tracked in market movers. So that's that 2020 rookie class. Now, how does that compare to a Kyler Murray in 2019? All right, let's take a look at that. So far, we've got 345 cards in market movers for Kyler Murray. So it's less than half. And this isn't a perfect science. It's not as if every single card is being represented. It's just giving us a gauge and something to compare. So Kyler Murray's at 345 cards. And I want to actually bring up my buddy Brad, the comeback card investor, in his video from a couple of days ago. He was talking about how he was buying Prism. I believe it was Prism PSA 10 Kyler Murray rookie cards in January for about $350 to $400. And he mentions, the pop reports at the time. He kind of liked the numbers. I think they were at 700 or 800 or something like that. I might be missing on the number, but the point is that he liked kind of what that pop report looked like and then kind of made an assumption on what that would look like in 6 months, 9 months, a year, and then made those purchases. Well, what ended up happening with him is that pop ended up tripling, I think. So he was kind of gauging it maybe doubling, in 6 months, and it actually tripled. With the Cardinals playing amazing football and Kyler Murray looking fantastic, his cards that he bought at $350 to $400, those Prism PSA 10 Murray rookie cards, are still sitting at about the same price. They have increased a little bit, but the supply is the issue there. Well, that's a big part of the issue, I would say, because you just have more and more of them out there. Now, of course, you take a risk with the base Prisms, but again, you're also thinking that's a liquid card. A lot of people will get into those base Prism PSA 10s because it's a liquid card that you can move in and out of, where if he had gotten an orange parallel or something, let's just say, maybe he wouldn't be able to move off of that. So Brad kind of talked about that in his channel a couple days ago, a recent video. And that's part of kind of the story here. And that's why I want to bring this up, because I think that it's really important when we're looking at price points for Joe Burrow and Justin Herbert. What are those price points going to look like in 6 months to a year? We don't know, but we can look at the supply, look at that PSA backlog. It helps us make some assumptions. It helps us kind of make some predictions, if you will. And another good example, Baker Mayfield 2018. In market movers, Baker Mayfield has 252 cards, so quite a bit less, about 100 cards less than Kyler Murray does. And you will notice that with Baker stuff, you've got pop reports that are quite a bit lower. Now, what about Patrick Mahomes in 2017? He actually has 435 cards in market movers. Probably a lot of that has to do with just everything Patrick Mahomes has been on fire. And so he probably has every single kind of rookie card that he has is probably being bought and sold in some capacity. There's also probably more grades of these. What I mean by that is, in market movers, they're probably tracking like PSA 7 Prism rookie cards, whereas with the Baker, they wouldn't track that. Or some of these other ones, they wouldn't track it. And I'm just assuming that, but that's probably, why. It's not necessarily that Patrick Mahomes had, more rookie cards available than Kyler Murray did, comparing 2017 to 2019. It's just there's just more of them being transacted over the last 365 days. What about Dak Prescott, a 2016 rookie card, the best QB out of that rookie class, I think we could say? Dak Prescott has 191 cards being tracked in market movers at this point. So that's another thing. When you look at the pricing for Dak, there's not the same supply, not even close to the same rookie card supply if we're comparing Dak to Joe Burrow or Justin Herbert. So the supply thing is a big deal, guys. So it's like, even if, Justin Herbert and Joe Burrow are going to be the next greatest thing on earth, you've got to look at kind of that supply of how many cards, how many different options are there out there. That is an absolutely critical piece when buying and selling cards. You might think, okay, I'm getting a great deal on this particular Joe Burrow card. How many are sitting at PSA still? How many are coming? That supply thing is going to be big in the next 6 months to a year. It's really a big reason why I want to hold on a lot of Joe Burrow and Justin Herbert cards, probably for another 6 months, 9 months, 12 months. I own one Joe Burrow rookie card. It's a select. I bought it for fun at trade night at the National, SGC 9.5. I think it was $50. So it was I just wanted to own one. It was a silver, a select silver for Burrow. I don't own any Justin Herbert cards, but that's on purpose though, because I just don't like the pricing. I like like Justin Herbert as a player. I like him as a prospect. I just don't like the prices. When I'm looking at pricing and it's Tom Brady prices for Justin Herbert, then I'm going to sit and wait. That's not a priority for me, especially with millions of cards in the PSA backlog. I want to wait and see where that all shakes out. And then if we make a vintage card comparison in Market Movers, we've got 10 cards for Joe Montana, which is the one rookie card, just in different grades, different grade options for Montana. And there's one Jim Brown card available in Market Movers, and it's a PSA 3 Jim Brown. I think that there's only the PSA 3 right now in Market Movers because that's probably the one that's transacted the most. If you go into higher grades, I don't even know if a PSA 10 Jim Brown has been sold for years. I think it's actually been a few years since one sold. I think I looked that up at one point. It was like 2018, 19. And so there are some out there. There's not, I think there's 5 or something, so I think that's the reason why there's only that PSA 3 right now in Market Movers. I'm sure that'll grow over time, but just not a lot of data to track there. It's an important distinction to make when people are talking about vintage cards versus the modern, ultra modern. And that's why I think a lot of you here is kind of like, go vintage. Vintage is, more safe. It's because of the supply side. Yes, they did print a lot of 81 Topps Joe Montana cards, but he doesn't have 50 different parallels. He doesn't have, a ton. Jim Brown, same story. So was it short printed? No, it wasn't. But there's just how many of them survived over time in great condition. So that's something to think about, something to kind of just wrap your mind around that. It's something that we always have to keep in mind when buying and selling sports cards. I wanted to put this out there. Important video for those that are putting a lot of money into the hobby, new people as well, just trying to figure out kind of the supply demand side. And they're looking at like, okay, we've got these young QB prospects, got to make comparisons on some of the supply stuff. It makes a huge difference. Demand is one piece of it, but supply is a critical piece. Just ask, the junk wax era from the late 80s, early 90s. There's some amazing players from that time, the Barry Sanders of the world, the Frank Thomas, the Derek Jeters of the world. There's some amazing players, Shaq, from that time period, and a lot of their cards are just not worth as much because they're just so available. They're very, very available out there. All right, guys, I hope that you have an amazing rest of your day. Stay healthy, stay awesome, and I will talk to you again later.